Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Chulin Daf Samechtes, starting in Amud Aleph on the top. The Gemara says, Boy Rav Chananya. Rav Chananya is 6 lines at the top of Amud Aleph. Boy Rav Chananya asked the following question. Hoitzi ubor es yodoi bazar ma'u. So we learned in the Mishnah, if the fetus took his hand out of the womb of the mother, so the hand, it becomes also, according to at least one opinion. It's also because it came out. What happens if the fetus took his hand out of the mother's womb, but the mother was in the Azara, and Beis Hamikdash?
So what?
Oh, very good.
Where was they were together in the Azara?
Yeah. Migadav mechitza gabi kochim, aminam legabi dai. Legabi kochim, you also have a din mechitza. What's a mechitza? That you cannot have hegdish going out of Beis Hamikdash and become chutz. So legabi hegdish, when the hegdish is in the Beis Hamikdash, it's considered to be inside. So do you tell me that works for Uber as well? Uber usually is the mechitza as the mother. But if he has another mechitza, which is hegdish, which is Beis Hamikdash, maybe that works. Maybe that's the mechitza. Because what's the nekuda? We're learning from this same pasuk, from the pasuk that says Basa was a treifo, that there's things that leave their border, go out of where they belong to, they become problematic, either a uber or hegdish. So once you have a uber and hegdish, maybe that protects you. Says the Gemara. So migo, because of migo gabi kochim, maybe we'll be also for this. Or maybe no, the mechitza of Uber is his mother. The fact you have other mechitza doesn't apply to it.
Why would I think differently?
Migo, it's like a migo, it's a mitoich. Why are you asking about the Azara? What about kochim kalim, meaning light kochim, in Yerushalayim? If you have korban toichu, you can eat all of Yerushalayim. What happens if you have an Uber who takes out his hand in Yerushalayim?
With Shiloh.
The same Shiloh.
Wow.
The same way you have a Shiloh, like a Uber in the Azara. If he takes it out, maybe the Azara is considered to be inside, so Yerushalayim should be inside. No, I think more understood that was not even outside. The Gemara, for some reason, it was clearer to the Gemara, the Yerushalayim is not a mechitza for the mother. Shiloh was Beis Hamikdash as a mechitza.
So what it is?
So why ask me? Beis Hamikdash is different. So why I don't say why Yerushalayim is not a question, because you understand that for a fetus Yerushalayim is not enough. So the same svar you have Yerushalayim, you have also by Beis Hamikdash itself. Says the Gemara, the fetus took his hand out between cutting the siman. The cut, we learned earlier, shechita works, you cut one siman of the animal and another siman. Between the two simanim, he stuck out his hand. Why should that be different? Mimitztav siman rishon siman sheni letare midei nevelo oiloi. What's that? If the fetus did not take out his hand, and you do a full shechita, are you allowed to eat the fetus?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Why? Because you have a din the shechita of the mother works for the fetus. Right? Now, he took in his hand, it does not work. Right? What about he took his hand in between the siman? Once again, we had a very similar question earlier in the Masechta. The first siman, before he took in his hand, the siman was about to make this animal, this hand, kosher lachila. The second siman is not making kosher lachila, it's also lachila because he took the hand out. But does it make it kosher not to be nevel? Can you have...
Is that the question here?
Yeah. Can you have a shchita which half of it is meant to make it kosher lachila and the second half is meant only to make it non-nevel? That's the question of the Gemara. Let's see inside. If you look at Rashi says, if you look on the side, and right across what we're holding, Simon Risha Kishenichad Boy de Verze Betoicho, when the Simon Risha was Nishchat, while the limb was inside. Hayabala Atir Bachila. Not meant to be even Achila. Umishiatso ain't Chatir B'Chasim and Sheni Boa Lever Zela Tarvin Denevela. The second sin is only to do Tarvin Denevela. Kalim Lehem. V'choy Magat Shev Shchuto. Mitztav Simon Risha Shabal Atir Latir. Im Ze Sheno Ba'el Atir V'lo Yilum Yal Atir V'lo B'Shtei Shavim Makach. Do you say that you could combine the two or not? That's a question of the Gemara. Says one more Rava Kavachayim. Im hoy lo Simon Rishon Simon Sheni Latir Ba'Chilo Lo Latir Man Denevela. Of course it makes. Can I join the first simon and the second simon to make it mutar b'achila? Yeah. So of course it can be mitzvah if the simon rishon simon sheni to be mutar b'nevela. So the Gemara says it's a svara. What's a svara? It makes sense that when you have the same way you agree that the taharu midin nevela to l'achilo you will join simon rishon simon sheni. So taharu nevela you also join. In other words, there's no reason to be chayv between them.
By definition, if you can eat it, it's not in the veil.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But the
I hear an echo. I hear it twice. No, it's not enough. I hear it once, right? I have to hear it once.
So,
but how you start something that was before and after? It's in the middle. He stuck his hand out. No?
Right. So Shaila is, do you say that both simon join together, or at least to make it non-available? Because when you have a full shechita, it's not available. In addition, it's also mutar b'achila. The second shechita doesn't make it mutar b'achila, but it does make it non-available. So Gemara says, yeah, if you agree the first and second join to make it mutar b'achila, why should I at least join for that part as well? That's the other Gemara. Say what boy of Yirmiyah. Ma'u lachush lezaru. Are we choishesh for the zera, for the child of this ben kul?
What's the terrace, by the way? Is there a terrace?
Yeah. Gemara says the svara, the same with the rishon sheni. Join to be mati b'achila, so rishon sheni join to be mati b'nevela. So boy of Yirmiyah ba'al lachush lezaru. Echidami ilimidozol abehimo me'al yisol. You have this fetus. The Gemara is asking, what about the zera of this fetus? What's the case? So maybe this fetus had a relation with the regular animal. Right? My ear ID space, so bim kudal manami. Why have to get to our case that he stuck his hand out? Regular bim kul. Same case. Why? Toma Misha Shodiva Choshim Lazera Kudman Doma that holds that when you have an animal, you're choshish for the father. You have to take into account. Ha'av ben bekua bo beimo me'aliso havlad ben lotakona. Why? The father is a ben bekua. Ben bekua doesn't need shchita. The mother is a regular animal, doesn't need shchita. The child that is born is something in between. Rashi says he's half need shchita, doesn't need shchita. Mitzad the ben bekua doesn't need shchita. Mitzad the mother doesn't need shchita. It's only half a shchita. It doesn't work. You can't check. They can't eat it. Because it needs shchita, but you can't do half a shchita. So if the case is they have a relation with a regular animal, forget about sticking out the hand. Even without sticking the hand, they have an issue. So
what about a ben bekua and a regular ben? Not the sticking out. What about a ben bekua and a ben bekua?
Oh, so ben bekua. Oh, so the more tzricho el dozo ben bekua kavasei. So regular ben bekua, the child doesn't need shchita. The shaila is, what happens if you have ben bekua that's stuck in his hand, ben bekua did not stick in his hand? Aver moilid aver v'chotich leveshal. So here it's a fascinating thing, and the Gemara looks at it. You have the father, he's stuck on his hand. So for the father, the entire body is mutar b'achila, except the hand. Hand is also b'achila. The mother, everything is mutar b'achila. So I have your hand, which is problematic. So what do you say? If you say that the father and the mother, the hand of the father gives birth to a hand. The hand of the mother gives birth to a hand. So I have your hand, which is problematic. So don't eat the hand. Don't eat the hand. Just don't eat the hand. The hand is an issue. That's it.
When you say the father, what is the father?
He was a ben bekua.
Ben bekua that stuck on his hand. So by him, you can't eat the hand. So as if this behemoth has a problematic hand. He has a relationship with another Ben Bekua. It doesn't have problematic yet. The baby that's born has a hand which is somewhat problematic. So we say, okay, so don't eat the hand. Easy. So they won't have a different problem. Again, those are people who say, my Aver, do you say the hand gave birth to a hand, so to speak? Obviously, the hand doesn't give birth to a hand, but from the hand comes a hand. You just cut the hand and you're good to go. Or maybe what the shot is, it mixes up. This father has a 10% out of him, hand, which is not edible. He goes and gives birth to this child. This child is 10% not edible. Not the hand is not edible, but the whole baby has 10% not edible. And I can't do shchita. Do you look at the hand as a hand, or do you look at it as a mixture? Of course it's mixed up. So bring a rye from Etzias oil. Do you tell me that a blind father gives birth to a blind child? Does a lame father give birth to a lame child? No. So what happened to this issue of being lame or being blind? It mixes up. And it comes out and something else. We don't know what it is. So for sure, what's the question? One second. Once you tell me things are mixed up, so when you have a father animal, papa animal, can you eat the whole animal? A regular animal, forget what I'm recall. Can I eat everything? Is there any part of the animal I cannot eat?
The animal?
Yes, regular animal, regular cow. Yeah. Is there any animal I can't eat? Chaylev, dom, there's parts I can't eat. Right. Then you have this father who has parts you can't eat, has a relationship with the mother, a female, has a child. Can I eat the child? Yes. But think about it, there's a mixture here of things you can't eat.
No, but we know what halacha you can't eat the chaylev, you can't eat the dam.
Right, Sebu. So the halacha mixes up. So I have a portion of this child who was born from a chaylev.
No, but he's saying let's
every animal is
the question is any animal. That's what he's saying. It's still shy, it's still mutter. Sachinam Yuloshno should be the same thing. In other words, the same way chaylev v'dam. The fact I have a portion of the animal which is not edible does not affect the shechit of the animal. So also by a bit of core that has a hand that's not edible, it's be the same thing. Or deal more trey surah amrina try to learn. Maybe not. Maybe, like you said, chaylev v'dam, the Torah basically told you this is how it is. It won't affect you. Today he says lav davka trey surah, because you have also other yisurim. He says what about gidanosha? Gidanosha now, there are parts you can't eat. The Torah says that you can't eat, it does not affect the child. But here they're having a new Isser. The Isser is the limb that comes out. Maybe the Torah did not say. So the Gemara does not, we're not bringing a raya from here. So the Gemara, either a mayor, Isser chaylev v'dam miko, Isser Yechezkel. According to a mayor, what does the Gemara say? Here I have three Isser. I have a Isser chaylev, I have a Isser dam, I have a Isser aver that came out of the womb. So according to our mayor, you're right, you have chaylev v'dam, but I don't have Isser Yechezkel. We'll see in a moment. If you have Yudo, it's the opposite. Isser Yechezkel, the ham came out of the womb, but Isser chaylev v'dam leiko. We don't have a problem with chaylev v'dam, chaylev at least. They're not. How do we know that? So Gemara brings the Mishnah of Braiso. Braiso says, Ki danoshe noyeg b'sholilo. Ki danoshe is noyeg in a fetus. V'chel boy also. You're not allowed to eat the fat. Any fetus comes out of the womb of the mother does not have a din of chaylev. It doesn't have a din of gidanoshe. So according to Rabbi Yudo, I don't have a problem of chaylev. Right? I don't have a problem with chaylev. Right?
When he says that ain't noyeg, or whether it's noyeg or shlo or not, we're talking about this case of like a ben pekua. Is that the case? That I'm saying, because I mean, eventually the Uber will be born.
Yeah. No, I'm saying.
We're looking at Shech of the mother. You find Uber inside.
Right.
The chaylev of the mother is a problem. But the chaylev of the dam, at least according to
there's gears, so there's not a problem. So I find chaylev in the fetus. Can I eat it? So according to Rabbi Yehuda, you could eat it. So I don't have a problem with chaylev. So, but I do. So according to Rabbi, there's no Yisur Chelik, but there is Yisur Yotze. According to Rabbi, it's the opposite. Why do you don't have Yisur Yotze? Because we saw, he says, Mash Mifrin To'ot Shchita. He learns whatever is inside always needs Shchita. Even the animal needs Shchita. If it's 9 months old, according to Rabbi. According to Rabbi Yudo, so he says, he doesn't always need Yisur Chelik. So well, you're saying, here it's different. Because here, I have an extra Yisur I don't have before. Why have an extra Yisur? Because of Chelev Adam? Chelev Adam, I don't have it, according to Rabbi Yudo. Ella says, "Will call me koyach lo yamina the shar." Says the Gemara, no. Whatever comes with something else, I'm not coming to tell you that's a problem. It's mutter. Comes from a father that has issues, doesn't make it a problem. Well, that was partial. Like this, basically, you understood till now. Chelev Adam of the father does not affect the rest of the animal. The hand doesn't affect the rest. There's no problem. We have a different question. Ma'u ligmoya is chalboy. Right? Can I drink the milk of this fetus who took out his hand? Every milk. How can I drink milk? Milk is coming from every minute. The same way I can't eat the spleen or the kidney, why can I eat the milk? Elamad, the Torah told you is mutter. Hainami lo shlo, or the so is the candle is sur b'shchito. How is the candle is sur b'shchito? Tekoi. That's what I was asking. So one concludes and says, our discussion is not the guy everything else we said. Everything we said, we thought, after back and forth, we're clear that when a Bibikua has a child, the child is not, we don't care about the Isser that the Bibikua has. That's not an issue. When we talk about child, as Rashi points out, not the child, a real child. Child means the milk that comes out of it. His toilot. What's the idea with the milk? Milk, the problem with the milk is the milk is coming from an animal. Usually, why can I eat milk? It's every minute. The Torah says you can eat it. So the same thing over here. I have an animal, which the hand is not animal. Can I eat the milk? Why not? So I'll tell you what. Regular animal, there's a way to make the animal kosher l'achila. You can check it. So if you didn't check it, the Torah told you that the milk is mutter. But here, there's a part that will never be mutter. The hand that he stuck out, you can't make it mutter. So maybe the milk that comes to such an animal is not mutter. That's what Gemara asks. And what remains with the takeaway. Everything else that we asked is not a question anymore. You cut a piece of the fetus. If you cut a piece of the baby, it's mutter b'achila. But if you cut a piece of the spleen or kidney, it's also because every minachad, the Mishnah said.
Wait a minute. Spleen and the kidney from whom?
Of a regular animal.
From the mother?
Yeah, mother. So minolon dichtiv kol beim offers parso. Right, the pasuk says, in the animal you can eat. Beimo bebeimo l'rabbi savlat. It says kol beimo bebeimo. So the animal within the animal you can eat. So you have a limud. Anything which is in the animal you can eat, and therefore if you take a piece and cut it off of the fetus, you can eat it. Says the Gemara, now that you're calling it behemoth, meaning you're calling a fetus a behemoth. Yeah, mirror boy, you should be able to do it tomorrow. Tomorrow is a day that I can come and exchange one animal for another. You should be able to do it tomorrow. You can't do tomorrow from a fetus to a limb to a fetus. Or fetus and limb to a regular animal. Why not? Fetus is a full animal. The Torah calls it behemoth. Hello, Makrov, v'chol behemoth, l'rabois, as of that. Different pasuk. Not behemoth, but behemoth, it's called behemoth. It says, v'chol behemoth. V'chol behemoth is called the child, the fetus. And therefore it tells you that it's mutter. It says Gemara, if you live v'chol behemoth, yaki, I feel choytech min ha-tcholim, min ha-kloros, taking the spleen. One second, just to finish, said it. If you have choytech min ha-tcholim, min ha-kloros, take away from the spleen and the kidneys. Nami also should be okay. It says v'chol behemoth. Alamat nam choytech min ha-uba shebehemoth mutter b'achilo. Min ha-tcholim min ha-kloros also b'achilo. If you say chol behemoth, anything because of the animal. Has to be sure, not chaser. Yeah?
Yeah, well, why the drushes from Chol Behemoth is that you no longer have the question from tomorrow?
Because the Torah never called it behemoth.
It's only because it means
if it's called behemoth, it's because it's tomorrow. Right. If it's not behemoth, it's just oshrik. It's not behemoth. Right. Elamata, sure, there's a behemoth motzah with musyoino. Someone checked an animal and he found in the animal a fetus that looks like a bird. Tishteri, because it's called behemoth. And it's sholem. If you find a picture, a way it looks like a bird, also machilo, it's also says the Gemara, the Saftes base by Inon prosois veleko. Says in the pasuk, shtei pasuk malas geyo. We learned that we mentioned before. You need to have a split hooves. Elamahato, going back to what we learned yesterday's daf. Kolud b'mei paro, you find an animal doesn't have split hooves in the womb of a mother, litzer, shri aser, because the same way it's like the yaino, doesn't have split hooves. So remember we learned it in yesterday's daf that it's spelled exactly. It says parso loshen yochid, it says proso loshen rabin. What does a proso tell you? Even if it doesn't have split hooves, it has to have legs. A bird, if it looks like a bird, does not have legs. Really, like we said originally, that what? That you learn from the pasuk, it says beim of beim. For the kashlach ain't a mirror. Why? So I can't do Torah if it's called beim. Says the Gemara, Mani, Reb Shimoni de Makish Torah leMaiser. You learn Torah from Maiser. Ma Maiser ain't a noeg be'avorim buborim. Maiser, he doesn't work by fetus and by limbs. Av Torah and a noeg be'avorim buborim. You learn, it's a thing, you're right, it's called Behema. But you learn from a Maiser. And we know Terah, you know, but Maiser, he does not know Buborim and Ivarim. If someone comes to the leg and says, this leg is oila, the animal becomes a full oil. So he's coming and saying, the same way by Hegdish. When I'm magdish a leg, the entire animal becomes kodesh. So also by tomorrow, when I'm doing tomorrow to the leg, the whole animal will become a tomorrow. That's what he said. So when the Maika Be'adali, who is he talking to? Maybe he's talking to Meir Rabbiudo. So I saw, do they agree with this concept? Person said, I want to make the leg oilo. Is the whole animal come oilo? Talmud Laimar kol ha'sheitem menu la'Hashem yeh kodesh. Mimenu kodesh v'lo kula kodesh. No, I have to give a portion. Doesn't spread. Yechol teitzel chulin. Maybe then you can redeem it. Talmud Laimar yeh b'avayosati. So you can redeem it, but it's not fully kodesh. What do? Hakeitzati mochel tzorcha oilo so the mea chulin chutzin mea v'shabo. Divrei Meir Rabbiudo. Meaning you sell the animal to be an oilo, and the money you can use because 90% of the animal is not an oilo. So the money that you get is chulin, but the leg has the oilo that you can't sell. So that money is not yours.
You're only supposed to take 90%, not 100%.
What?
You're only supposed to take.
No, a regular animal take 100%. But if I have a leg which is kodesh, so I can't take the value of the leg. So what is it? That's what Meir Rabbiudo hold. When a person is giving hegdish of the leg, it doesn't spread to the whole body. That's a Meir Rabbiudo. So they say that makes the whole thing show. Says the word of the mind. When we speak about tomorrow, who are we talking to? So I swear they don't agree that the leg becomes kodesh. Elalav Reb Shimon. Elamai talking according to Reb Shimon. So you see, according to Reb Shimon, when you say the leg is oilo, it becomes oilo. Comes Rabbi Yossi to Reb Shimon. It's Reb Shimon. I don't understand. So by tomorrow also, tomorrow when you do it tomorrow on the leg, the entire animal should be tomorrow. You see, Reb Shimon himself doesn't agree with that. According to Reb Shimon, when you do tomorrow on the leg, it doesn't become tomorrow. Here's a raya. Boy asked, who's the man that holds? You learn tomorrow from Meiser, and the same way in Meiser, you can't. The same way you can't do a one leg, but it's especially because you can't do it tomorrow. Where is Reb Shimon? I don't know Reb Shimon because Reb Yossi is coming attacking Reb Shimon and says, "Why don't you say one leg is a problem?" So you see, according to Reb Shimon, one leg does not become tomorrow. That's the raya. Second one, that's not a raya. Look, Reb Yossi time Reb Shei Kalman. Not that Reb Yossi is coming to convince Reb Shimon. So in other words, So that could be the idea. Reb Shimon doesn't learn that tomorrow one aver it can't happen tomorrow. Could be he holds it doesn't go tomorrow. But Rabbi just explaining himself, right? If you want to see, look at last Rashi for the Mishnah. Lawyer Beisi Tan Shikoma Mehalo Tema Telekam Reb Shimon. Lawyer Emel Meir or Reb Yudo. Telo Shemil the Macho. V'tamayim be'om Shudei Voyim Bu Boyim La Beim Amikra. They don't hold as a beim. He's attacking him. Not because he says you agree with me. How old when you said the leg is oil, the whole thing is oil. Then after tomorrow. So now the Shimon, the one with the being a riot, the Shimon is not Doma. Because the race is talking to him. So more maybe it's not Shimon, not a riot. All the one wanted to bring is, we say it's the Shittas of Shimon that holds that the word is learned from Meiser. And Meiser is not Noeg Bevorim Buboy at Turin under Haggis. How do I know that? It's like, well, no, maybe it's not Shimon, maybe it's a Raisi. When we wanted to bring a riot of Shimon, no riot from Mitzvah Shimon. But the more says, that's only the Shita of Rabbi Shimon that he learns from Meiser. Or a basic. But we don't agree with that. So we hold that Echanami tomorrow will be Chal on an Eker because we hold it's a Beim. As it in Beim. Very good. Okay. Let's see a few more lines so we get to Mincha. Hamevakeres Hamak Sholilit. You have an animal who's giving birth to a B'chor. And it has difficulty to give birth. You take small pieces and you throw it to the dog. So we have a din b'b'chayra. Only once the animal is born, it has kodesh b'chayra. Before that, it doesn't. So when the animal is still in the womb, you cut out pieces, it doesn't have kedusha, you can throw it away. No issue. Once the roiv came out, it's considered to be kedusha. So you have to bury it. And then it's part of the B'chayr. It's like, wait, Yotzo Shlish, Umochor Lovet Kechovim, V'chozo V'yotzo Shlish. Came out 1/3 of the behemoth, and he sold it to a guy. And then came out another third. Ravunu Alma Kodesh, Rabu Alma Ino Kodesh. So 1/3 of the behemoth came out, sold to a guy. Then came out the next roiv, next shlish. So total of a roiv came out. But already half of it belongs to a guy. What's the thing? So Ravuna Kodesh Alma Kodesh. Ravuna Kodesh Kasov Lemafrei Kodesh. Once you have a majority of the B'chor coming out, you find out this is a Kodesh. Too late. He sold to the guy a shlish. Once the other shlish comes out, retroactively we find out he couldn't. It was Kedusha's B'chor. Rabbi made a Kodesh, Kosov Mikam L'Haba Kodesh. He holds the Kedusha doesn't come retroactively. The Kedusha comes Mikam L'Haba. So once the roiv comes, then it becomes Kodesh. Ma'idazovin Shavuos Dal. So in other words, we'll stop over here. We'll go back to this tomorrow. But the idea is that if you tell me the one of B'chor comes out, Lemafreis Kodesh from the beginning, so it comes out to be that this entire animal is Kedusha's B'chor to begin with. He sold to a guy before he had Kedusha's B'chor, and find out that he made a mistake. But if you tell me no, the Kedusha, once the roiv comes out, then it becomes Kodesh, and that doesn't go backwards. Whatever he sold to a guy was a good sale. We'll get back to this.